Hi there. My name is Kay Moon and I'm a Twin Soul Channel and Western astrologer. And this is a video about the new moon in Pisces occurring on March 3rd, 2022 at 12:34 p.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. If not, please check a time zone converter for your local time. This will be the Lightworker energy update for this lunation. This new moon in Pisces takes place right up here at the 12th degree of Pisces. You can see the sun moon conjunct sitting with Nessus and Jupiter. This new moon energy is also sextile Uranus and having a conversation that brings forward surprise, revolution, transformation, growth, and change in collective energies. This is very exciting new beginning energy. There's lots of faith, lots of hope, lots of optimism as Jupiter transits through Pisces, because that's what it brings: faith, hope, and optimism, and an expansion of those qualities in the sign of Pisces. But Jupiter also brings forward opportunity, and new moons portend new beginnings. With Jupiter and new moon collaborating energetically during this lunation and Uranus having a conversation with all of them, this is almost like surprise new beginning energy that comes out of nowhere. Prayer is being answered. Things that you've wanted, that you've been manifesting for, that you've been working towards alongside praying for, actually showing up in the third dimension, and the third dimension reconfiguring to be able to facilitate the answering of those prayers. Let me just make a note about what to call this. Perfect. Okay. What's fun about this particular new moon is that it's a really beautiful mix or dance of spirit and physical, the earth realm and the realms of the ether. And those two things coming together in a grand manifestation here in the third dimension. So there may be, despite the challenges that we've experienced in the first several months of the year with the Venus retrograde energy, there may be at this point a lot of faith, hope, and optimism that things can actually work out, that even the places where we were challenged by the Venus retrograde back in December might actually turn in a way that serves us, or it's at this time where we might actually see the divine pattern playing out within it all and understand how all of it is working out for our higher good at this time. This Jupiter sextiling Uranus on its own, this right here is bringing forward new opportunities for money if we're willing to work for it. The sextile energy can bring new opportunities and blessings out of hard work and effort. The trine, which is not what we have here, can bring it out of nowhere. But in order to get the blessings of this transit, we do need to actually be in the effort of applying ourselves in one way or the other. As I said at the beginning, efforts begun under this energy do actually have the potential to go an extraordinarily long way in terms of yielding success. There can also be an energy of good luck. There can be an energy of opportunity, like I said. All of it works for the greater good. And so that's important to remember here. We will be revisiting themes with this Venus revisiting Pluto for her third and final meetup as she comes out of shadow. And we're going to talk about that in a moment. But there will be themes from December and November that now that we're on the other side of the Venus retrograde and in this new moon in Pisces energy, the last new moon of the entire astrological cycle. The next new moon will be new moon in Aries. So it'll be a new moon at the beginning of an astrological cycle, given that Aries is the first sign of the zodiac. This gives us the opportunity to finish things we started, to put the final push into something that needs our attention, effort, time, and energy in order to be successful. And if we're able to do that at this time, success is something you definitely will see. Now, there's this energy here with Venus, Mars, and Pluto conjunct. This on its own is unique, but it doesn't stand alone. They're receiving a sextile from the planet Neptune, which adds a dimension of spirituality to those three. We've got a square here from the energy of Eris in Aries, and that adds a dimension of, how do I put it? A real recognition of where our back might be a little bit against the wall and where we might need to fight for our seat at the table. And there's also a square here to the creation goddess down here in Libra. And so this does form a bit of a T-square, and I'm going to talk about that and what it means momentarily. But just to start breaking down these energies one at a time, whenever we have Venus and Mars conjunct on their own, Venus being the green one, Mars being the red one there, these two talk about passion, drive, the willpower and desire. Sometimes we have the desire, but we have no willpower. Sometimes we have the willpower, but we have no desire. But this is the two of them together, coalescing to create ambition and to create a bit of a force in our lives that sweeps through our lives that moves us in a particular direction. On one level, this can be just very motivated energy to get a thing done. On the other hand, it can also be highly charged sexual energy. When these two come together, there can be a lot of passion, a lot of chemistry, a lot of sexual energy in the air. And this is only amplified, specifically the force and the sexual energy piece, by the connection here with Pluto. Pluto does represent the alchemical process where two energies or entities come together to make one. It represents that energy of transformation, and the transformation truly through the sexual act of communing with the divine, with source, and the divine within you. But Pluto also represents our shadow and the underworld. Pluto also represents our fears and everything we do to either hide or repress those fears. So it can be a very tricky, dangerous time in a lot of ways, where we can have the force and the willpower and the desire to get certain things done in Capricorn, the material world, earth sign. But it comes with a heavy dose of, in some cases, running from our fears and the things we're afraid of, repressing those things, or trying to block out people who would have us confront those things within ourselves, and block out or reject certain situations that expose us to what we fear the most. So it's important to pay attention to how this very sweeping, compelling energy is moving in your world. And it's a good idea if there are people in your world who sometimes may be a little bit more forceful, or a little bit more challenging, or a little bit more my way or the highway about things. This is a wonderful, I would say, week, 10 days. Maybe just take a break from some of those connections if those people have to be a part of your life in any capacity. It's a great time to kind of take back your power, self-assess. Where are people trying to put their ideas about how you should be on to you, when it's their life, their ideas, what they need to do? Because force is something that will really show up under this lunation, and it's something you want to be mindful of. making sure you have appropriate space and distance from people who would project onto you their fears about themselves or repress their fears in such a way that it comes out sideways. There's a little bit of the situation there of Ukraine and Russia playing out on the world stage underneath this energy of passion, force, and willpower and fear, all kind of coalescing to create this circumstance that we're witnessing. So, all of that to say, in the third dimension, this isn't just like ideas in conflict, this is third dimensional conflict. So, just be mindful, stay safe for sure. As best as you can, to put yourself in safe places with safe people at this time. And our hearts are with the people of the Ukraine. I mean, there's tragedies that go on every day in every country, among many different peoples. It's just always sad to see someone overtaken by force that they, where it's like, we didn't ask for this. Why are you imposing what you want on us? It's one thing to say, hey, here's a conversation, let's have it, let's negotiate. It's another thing to impose your will on another group of people. And that's what we have here with Pluto, Mars, and Venus coming together under the sign that would represent the old guard, the patriarchy, tradition, institutions, governments. That would be Capricorn. So this coalescence of energy is made balanceable by honoring Neptune's influence in the circumstance. Neptune brings a connection to spirituality, spiritual realms, higher level energy around our connection to the unseen world. Whenever Neptune and Pluto come together inside the sextile, there's a bit of a rooting for the underdog energy and an opportunity. It almost operates a little bit like Uranian energy in a way. There's a visionary quality to seeing what's possible in a new configuration, to seeing the opportunities available if we're only willing to bridge the gap between our third dimensional reality and what from a soul level we know to be true. And so the Neptune influence on this Pluto, Mars, Venus conjunction, it gives us an invitation. And that invitation is to transmute these highly external, like forceful, chemical, like I must get this energy out of me pieces. We have the opportunity to transmute those into a much higher spiritual understanding. There's a way in which we're going to, through this transit, the 5 days on either side, really be understanding the spiritual nature of sex and alchemy and transformation and growth, and the sexual and alchemical nature of the spirit. This is where body and spirit come together to create a transunion wholeness that allows us to step into a greater expression of divinity incarnate here on the earth. So that's the opportunity here. If we allow the Neptunian influence to join us in this conversation, okay, it can be a very beautiful energy if we decide to go that way. However, there are other factors in play. So we have this Eris energy pulling on us. And what Eris says is, I've been left out of the conversation for too long. I've been a victim for too long. I need to cater to me and only me. And therefore, everyone else who it would invite me to think about them is somehow wrong. This creation goddess energy is on the opposite side of that in Libra and wants to create new alliances, new partnerships, and wants and demands with this Mars, Venus, Pluto conjunction is demanding that we do it stat immediately. put these partnerships and alliances in place as fast as we're able to create more fairness, more equity, more justice. All of that is Libra. When you have this kind of T square where Eris is like, watch your own back, everyone's out to get you, and creation goddess is going, find good people to collaborate with. And Pluto, Mars, Venus are out here going, make a new thing happen and make it happen now. Do a new thing in the third dimension and do it now. Get your way and get it now. I've talked about this on my channel many times, but T square energies require us to lean into the sign that's conspicuous in its omission, and that's Cancer. When we bring and occupy from ourselves Cancerian energy, Cancerian energy is our emotional truth, our emotional integrity. It's our heart space. It is the energy of self-mothering and self-care and nurturing. That Cancerian energy wants us to consider how we feel, not just what everyone else feels. When you bring the Cancerian energy into the conversation, that's where we get to find a resolution to the tension of all of this. Some of the ways in which Pluto, Mars, and Venus would have us act out in shadow can actually be balanced when we allow spiritual wisdom and truth to show up and lean into this Cancerian energy of our emotional truth and our emotional integrity here. These two energies, the Neptune and the Cancer piece, Neptune and Pisces, and then you yourself taking up, your own starseed resonance as the celestial body in your emotions, that would be Cancer. This is what allows you to have, I would say, the smoothest possible ride with this Pisces new moon energy. Without that, unfortunately, there can be a lot of shadow energy going on here. A lot of power, a lot of force, a lot of externalization of our desires and will, and very little consideration for what we are doing and how it can impact other people. So, all of that to say, free will is a real thing. You get to choose how are you going to express this energy now that you know what it is. In addition to this energy, we have a Saturn Mercury conjunction. Saturn and Mercury can, like the energies we've already discussed, be expressed in light or shadow. Saturn Mercury coming together bring a conversation of lots of harsh critical self-talk, speaking harshly about others within your own mind, speaking harshly about yourself to other people, speaking harshly about others to other people, speaking harshly about yourself to yourself. This kind of like critical kind of, I almost want to say it can be a very down on oneself, down on other people kind of energy, not really assuming good intent, instead really assuming, false intent or bad intent about other people. In many cases, because this Plutonian energy is so loud at this lunation, it can be behind people's back. This kind of energy can go a long way, especially because we've got this trine to Lilith. This kind of energy can be extraordinarily destructive. And in particular, Aquarius and Gemini in our friendships and in our soul group, if expressed in shadow. Now let's talk about the light opportunity here. This can be thoughtful, serious, planful, and strategic energy. When it's used for and applied toward this very mental air energy, used for and applied toward how you are going to move yourself forward and how you are going to support your friend group at this time, the groups you're a part of, your soul group. How can you bring forward everyone that you are connected to through strategic, thoughtful, planned actions or conversations at this time? This could be expressed as rumination, unfortunately. There's a lot of slander, gossip, and blame energy to this if you want to use the energy that way, but that's up to you. If that's the way you want to use it, you get that free will choice. But if you are the kind of person who's very clear, you want to utilize your energy toward, the building or the creation of a business or marketing plans and activities, or you want to use it toward writing a book, or you'd like to use it toward building your platform, getting your message out there, or maybe you'd like to use it for just facilitating thoughtful conversations with important people. I've said it in the past that now is a really great time if you need to have revisitation conversations of any of the difficulties that came up during the Venus retrograde. Now's a great time to do it. There's a lot more thoughtfulness in this type of energy. This is a great time to rehash things that need to be rehashed, clean up negotiations, relook at contracts that may have been a little unclear, ambiguous, or conversations that may have been unclear or ambiguous back in December, November, or even January. Now's the right time to go back and do some cleanup, some conversational cleanup. And that's a more positive way to utilize this energy. Okay. And finally, we have this Juno, which is hanging out here in Aquarius as well. She's having a conversation square Uranus. And I'm going to talk about that in a minute because it's super important to our relationships. But if you've already heard something that resonated for you, you're seeing something in this for yourself that is making you go, oh, that's what that was with that person or in this thing in my life. You're new here, hit the subscribe button. I'm here at the new and the full moon to illuminate how to use the energies and the light. Hit that like button, helps the content circulate. And if you'd like to have a conversation with me for how these things can play out, this new moon energy over the course of the next 30 days for you, hit me up in my calendar. There's time available. I'm at kmoonastro.com. We can have a conversation about how to use this energy and the energies coming forward thoughtfully so that you're in a place where life isn't having its way with you, but instead you're conscientiously moving through your life. Juno square Uranus is also Juno's also having a sextile here to Chiron. Now, this is an interesting energy. Juno is partnerships. And this is partnerships in the world of alliances, hopes, wishes, and dreams, partnerships with the collective in Aquarius. Chiron is wounding, but Chiron is sitting in the sign of the self. So this is our personal wounding, Chiron in Aries. Uranus is transformation, growth, and change, but Uranus is sitting in the sign of value, self-worth, and self-esteem, money. It's sitting in the sign of the physical body and the way the physical body is operating. When we put all of this together, ways that this energy could play out is a chance healing in a relationship, encounters where you may stumble upon exactly what you need at exactly the right time in order to heal yourself and move forward. Spontaneous healing in our relationships after a very long effort of trying to put the work in. Somehow the light bulbs go on in relationship and things begin to shift. These could be surprise apologies or spontaneously just waking up and feeling different. This could also be a message from the physical body, a surprise kind of like, didn't see this coming, but the body is going to talk to you and give you a somatic message, either through potentially some pain or potentially, just giving you a somatic message. And this somatic message will likely tie to a relationship in your life where there may have been repressed or unexpressed relationship pain. Those things can really express themselves through the physical body at this time. So it's a good time during this lunation. If you've got a good therapist or great support, this is a great time to do any kind of somatic experiencing or body work to heal yourself. If there's emotions from relationships that are trapped inside your body, this is a great time to really work on healing those. It's also a really good time if you've experienced any type of physical abuse, sexual abuse, or assault themes in your life, this is a wonderful opportunity to do some healing work around that so that you're able to release the way those emotions from that moment might be trapped inside the body. Get good support while you're doing it. This is a great time to reach out for that support and get support. So it's another great way to use this Pluto, Mars, Venus energy. If you've got those kinds of themes in your background, go ahead and do the healing work. Okay. This is what I got for you. Beautiful new moon in Pisces. I hope you all enjoy the energies and use them safely and wisely. I am K Moon. I am a twin soul channel and Western astrologer, and this is your Pisces new moon update. If you liked it, please hit subscribe. If you'd like to look for me to look at your chart, find me over at K Moon Astro. It's a great time for us to get a read and have a look at the way the rest of the year might unfold for you, or some of the challenges you're seeing unfold in this energy. We can take a look at how to work with them. Thank you so much. Take great care. Bye for now.